Swadee krab, welcome to Thailand at Large. You're with me, Wachara Swaisanyakon today, and we've traveled to Chiang Rai, the northernmost province of Thailand. And you may already know Chiang Rai for its beautiful nature, rich history, and also arts and culture. But one other travel aspect of Chiang Rai which is being promoted right now is CBT, which is community-based tourism. And Chiang Rai is now used for being grown coffee and tea. And I've come to Ban Hoi Keo today, which is a tea growing area. Ban Hoi Keo is situated in the dense tropical rainforest of Chiang Rai. With the help of villagers here, the Ban Hoi Keo remains very well preserved, making it an ideal environment for the growth of tea. So from where we got out of the car, we're walking uphill slightly to where the tea plants are. And I've got with me some local experts who will guide me through the whole process of tea plucking, showing me like all the characteristics of the tea plants. With me here is Pichai, who will give me all the guidance and knowledge. And of course behind me, the ladies of Yao tribe of the village who have their baskets ready for tea plucking. So here we go. It's raining slightly, but that won't put me off. There are more than 300 species of tea plants in the world, but most of the commercial products are selected from two species, namely Chinese tea and Assam tea or Indian tea. Assam tea, whose taste and flavor are rather strong, has bigger leaves than Chinese tea. It is usually used for blending English breakfast or making milk tea. Assam tea is not something new to Thai people because it has been the symbolic native plant of consumerism culture of the people living in the upper northern region since ancient times. Miang is the snack that people always have at home in order to welcome visiting guests. Miang is made of Assam wild tea leaves, which can be found scattered among the tropical evergreen forest on the mountain. And then it will be fermented for a month based on local wisdom. The culture of miang consumption among these groups of people is to hold it in the mouth until the flavor starts to fade. This shows how tea drinking is different from other cultures. Recently, Thai people have come to realize that they can make a hot tea or beverages from Assam tea. That is why it has been steadily developed. At the moment, Assam tea in the northern region of Thailand covers an area of 70 to 80,000 rai of the forest, and its quality is not different from the famous Assam tea produced in Pu'er city of Yunnan, China. That is why Assam tea has started to be developed into a higher value product. Some raw materials were still exported to the Pu'er city to pass through a special manufacturing process, which become the highly priced tea nowadays. It's so lush and so green, and with the fog around us, it's actually very picturesque. Really lovely. Trail really narrows quite a fair bit, so we're really surrounded by very thick greens all around. But this
in front of me here, this is a tea plant. This is a tea plant, very big one.
These are wild teas that are naturally born and usually found on highlands or mountains in the northern provinces. Teas grow well in the hill evergreen forest that provides humidity and shades with a proper amount of sunlight.
I never thought that a tea plant could be this big. This must be about 20 meters tall at least. We usually think of tea plants as just shrubs about yay high, but you can't, you can't pluck these leaves without climbing up the tree somehow.
Despite being a middle-sized shrub, Assam tea is able to reach almost 20 meters in height. The old branch will turn grey, and its size will obviously become bigger than the Chinese tea. According to the forest survey around the Ban Hui Gao, it found that trees of Assam tea were scattered over a large area. Many are thought to be over 100 years old.
Well, what we were saying about these tea plants being very, very old, one that this big is estimated to be over 300 years old. Wow, this is incredible.
I returned the same way that I came, until I reached the forest edges. This has been the area for growing Assam tea for such a long time, but just how long is anybody's guess. Here, I met Mr. Wang, Vice President of Pu'er Tea Association, who will also survey the Chiang Rai's Assam tea today. Mr. Wang told me the Assam tea at the Ban Hui Gao is the same kind of tea found in India, Sri Lanka, and the southern region of Yunnan, China. But now it is scarce, so all parties should help preserve this tea. Considering the characteristics of tea leaves, we will realize that the soil fertility is still totally well maintained. There is a proper amount of sunlight suitable for the growth of the tea, resulting in the highest quality crops as well.
So some of these trees are as old as 300 years old. Mr. Wang was saying that from the characteristics and looks of this tree, it is definitely that old, and somebody that long ago must have planted it here on purpose. It didn't just grow randomly in the wild. But trees like this are very rare, and they should definitely be conserved by the community.
Here comes the tea harvest time. Let's see how high-quality tea are harvested.
So ideally, we want something like this, something at the very top of the branches, and you can see the small leaves, 2 small leaves on the side, and 1 unopened leaf, the tip in the middle. This is ideal for grade A quality tea that is preferred by the Chinese. Well, I'm actually curious as to how these taste just fresh. So, I mean, these look very clean. bitter and astringent. Not quite the same taste as the hot tea drink that we get yet. I mean, I think it has to go through fermentation and oxidization. So now, you know, you can't really tell. It has to go through some process first. So these are the freshly plucked tea leaves that we just picked out of the woods moments ago. And next step is we spread them out here and we just leave them to dry. Well, not completely dry, but they wilt, which only takes about an hour or so. If you see in my hands here, just leaving them here, make them a little bit more withered. And this is just to reduce the moisture content in the leaves. Now, you don't need to dry them out under the sun or anything. We're doing this under the roof. And once they've dried and withered out, the next step is to take them to be roasted. Well, the next step after the leaves have been dried, slightly dried and wilted, is to roast the leaves. Now we've got these roasting pans here, which are about almost 300 degrees hot. So you can see the leaves, after being in contact with the pan for just a few seconds, are already smoking. And you want to rotate the leaves around so that they don't get burnt too fast. So you pick it up from the bottom and you rotate it to the top. Now I have to wear these gloves just to make sure that my hands don't get burnt, but you just keep rotating them until the moisture is taken completely out of the leaves.
To fire tea leaves in a pan is not a piece of cake at all for beginners like me. This is because if I stop, the tea leaves might get burnt. But all that means nothing too difficult for me to learn.
Okay, so now that it's been roasted, we leave this here for about 5 minutes to cool, and then we'll come back here to it later. Okay, well, now that the leaves are cooled a bit, we come and massage them. So, how to massage them? Here, like that. They're still slightly hot to the hand, but you can touch them. Well, the massaging process here is just for the appearance to make them more stringy, which is what you usually see in the finished product. After they've been massaged, we go and take these out into the sun for them to be dried.ครับให้มันกระจายให้มันไม่เป็นก้อนใช่ไหมครับ Now we do this to get rid of any lumps in the tea leaves. So you want them to be spread out as much as you can with no lumps so that you can make an evenly spread out spread here. So, after all the waiting and hard work, this is the finished product. This is the tea which could be brewed. Now, this isn't all good yet because we have to select out all the ones that don't qualify. Now something like this would not be great. We're looking for something that's very fine and very dark. Something like this is probably a much better finished product. The ones that are still slightly yellow or light brown are old leaves. And we want the really dark ones, the really fine ones, which are the tip of the tea leaf, the small leaves which we were plucking out earlier.
This is the final product called black tea, which has been completely fermented. Each type of them has different colors, smells and flavors, depending on many factors such as tea varieties, weather conditions, treatment and manufacturing process. When the product of black tea is made, it is time for us to prove its quality derived from Assam tea at the Ban Hoi Keo.
The tea leaves that I have in front of me here are the Assam tea leaves that are grown in the wild in the Chiang region here. And as you can see, the leaves are big leaves, so it's not like what we used to see, which are much smaller fragments of leaves. These look much more whole. Now, as Mr. Wang was saying earlier, a good tea has a bitter taste to begin with, but it's all rounded and there's a hint of sweetness that will come afterwards. So let's see. Let me taste how this goes. I would say it's very smooth, and the sweetness definitely does come after a few seconds of tasting it. It's not apparent to begin with, and it's not super bitter. I think it's a very smooth, well-rounded tea. And what Mr. Wang was saying earlier is that the characteristics of the tea here is just as good as what is grown in India, Sri Lanka, or China. And the good thing about drinking tea is that it makes you feel very refreshed, and that is definitely true in this case.
Learning about Assam tea at the Ban Hoi Keo in Chiang Rai allows me to see more opportunities of Thai tea industry. Due to many resources based in the northern region, the improvement of production potential, marketing, and a wide range of processed products will enable Thailand to easily step up in the front row of the world as the future Assam tea producer. From the Ban Hoi Keo, I don't have enough time to travel before sunset because I have heard that there is another village not far from here. Apart from Assam tea, villagers here also grow high-quality coffee.
After spending some time in Ban Hoi Keo to study the process of making tea, we've come to another village called Ban Pang Khon, which also has tea plants growing in the wild. But here in Ban Pang Khon, tea isn't the only plant that yields hot beverage, because Ban Pang Khon is also well known for its Arabica coffee.
Ban Pang Khon is a community located on the high mountain of Chiang Rai. Here is another place where many ancient trees of Assam tea are found. The village here not only has Assam tea, but it's also a place for growing high-quality Arabica coffee of Chiang Rai. With the altitude of 1,400 to 1,600 meters above the sea level, the village here enjoys temperate weather all year long, making it an ideal place for growing coffee. In the past, the village here used to serve as the head stream, which was once invaded and cleared into a large area. Addictive plants grown in some areas have an effect on the stability along the border. In 2002, Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Consort of His Majesty King Rama IX, mandated the construction of Highland Agricultural Development Station under the royal initiative of His Majesty the King at Ban Pang Khon. The purpose is to help people to have a better quality of life and well-being while conserving and recovering.
กาแฟเนี่ยเริ่มตั้งแต่รุ่นปู่ครับที่ในหลวงสนับสนุนเข้ามาแล้วก็มีโครงการหลวงแล้วก็มีกรมประชาสงเคราะห์เข้ามาส่งเสริมท่านมาปลูกเนี่ย20-30 ปีแล้วครับปีหนึ่งเนี่ยชาวบ้านใน1ครอบครัวเนี่ยก็ได้ปริมาณประมาณ2ตันคือรายได้เนี่ยประมาณตกอยู่ที่ 200,000 ถึง 300,000 กาแฟดอยปังขอนเนี่ยจะมีรสชาติที่โดดเด่นมีคาแรคเตอร์ที่ชัดเจนมีครีมม่าแล้วก็วานิลาบอดี้หนักครับกาแฟถือว่ารสชาติที่ดีที่สุดในจังหวัดเชียงรายก็ว่าได้ครับ
The coffee has helped people living on this mountain to improve their quality of life. Today, they are ready to open themselves up to all visitors. You should not only visit here for the excellent taste of coffee, but also for many interesting lifestyles to learn and experience in the form of coffee tourism.
Community-based tourism also allows the local residents to realize the values of their resources. So I'm sure that if you came to Chiang Rai and experienced the magic, you will also be very impressed. Well, that's all the time we have for Thailand at Large for today. Please join me again next time. Until then, สวัสดีครับ